You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Come On Man. If you haven't done so already, please like, fave, subscribe, hit those notifications. If you're listening on an audio platform, give us a 5-star review. Also, take some time to actually write out what you like about the show. Those types of things helps us in the algorithm. Also, if you're on YouTube, leave us a comment and click that like button. Oh, I already said like, fave, subscribe, but leave a comment too, because commenting also helps us out in the algorithm as well. It gets us in front of more men. All right, this week I have a fun episode. It's the Luke and Paul show again. My friend Luke from Bristol came back on, and this time it's to discuss a book that he recommended for me. It's called The Last Law of Attraction Book You'll Ever Need to Read by Andrew Capp, I believe. And is it the last one I ever need to read? Maybe. It was good. I really liked it. In fact, a majority of the book is about various techniques to help you get what you want from the universe. You guys all know I'm a big law of attraction guy, so I like talking about it quite a bit. Luke's a really big law of attraction guy too. Sometimes he struggles with it, and that's why he really loves this book, is because a lot of the techniques in there are really working out for him very well. So we are going to have that conversation right after this. I often get inundated in my DMs on TikTok and Instagram from guys asking me for dating advice, specifically tips for online dating. How should I set up my profile? What kind of pictures should I have? How do I open with a woman? Look, guys, I'm a podcast host, not a dating coach. That's why I've partnered with one of the best dating coaches around. You may know him as Performance Potential on TikTok. I know him as Evan. And Evan has come up with one of the best dating app coaching programs in the industry. He's calling his program the Dating Dynamic. If you click the link in the description, if you use the promo code ComeOnMan30 at checkout, because you're one of my listeners, you'll get 30% off the cost of his program. You often hear that 80% of women are only going for the top 20% of men on dating apps. Well, this course is guaranteed to show you how to be in that top 20%. So stop complaining and do something about it. Click the link in the description and sign up for the Dating Dynamic program today and get 30% off when you use my promo code at checkout. That promo code is ComeOnMan30. Again, click the link in the description and get 30% off at checkout when you use ComeOnMan30. Be in that top 20%. All right, joining me once again is my brother from Bristol, Luke. That's right, everybody. It's the Luke and Paul show. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man. I'm good. Better than I've been in a long time. I've just beaten the Rona.
That's right. I was going to ask you how's COVID treating you, but you said you kicked its ass today.
I kicked its ass. No ivermectin, no drugs, no jab. Just
right. The old school way. Vitamin C, some zinc, maybe some chicken noodle soup or something.
Yep. That's it. That's it. The governments want to terrify us, and but I've done this before. I've overcome measles, German measles, mumps, whooping cough, bronchitis, you name it.
Yeah. Big pharma doesn't make a lot of money when you're curing things with chicken soup, All right.
They can't.
No, they can't. It's all about money. Anyway, so Luke recommended a book to me by a guy named Andrew Capp called The Last Law of Attraction Book You'll Ever Need to Read. And I really liked it. But Luke, do you think it is truly the last law of attraction book you'll ever need to read?
Yes, because the reason why I think it is because most law of attraction books, they say this, they give the same prescriptions.
Okay.
What they don't do is most of them don't explain why and how the ego blocks your success. And they don't explain why most people get tempted to give up.
Yeah, I agree with that. In fact, I have a note on it here. This is something that I did stand out for me in his book. He talks about the concept of three minds: subconscious, conscious, and the ego. Whereas every other law of attraction book I've ever read, or any Bob Proctor seminar I've watched, they talk about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and how you need your subconscious is what filters things out, but it's not. It's the ego trying to keep the status quo is what tries to filter that stuff out.
And so one of the reasons why I don't think that people should be buying all of the books is because that's another method that the ego uses to convince you not to take action. Like, oh, but we just need a bit more information first. And, oh, we need to make sure we're doing it properly. And, oh, what if it doesn't work? And what if it works too well? What if this? What if that? All of this stuff where people are like, I'm just not quite sure. That's the ego. What that is that's your very own ego trying to keep you in the same spot, because the ego literally sees change as death. That's why sometimes accepting something that's good for you, doing something that's good, going to the party that you always wanted to go to, or joining the running club that you've always wanted to, is fucking scary. Why is it scary? It's scary because the ego just wants everything to stay the same, because you're alive right now. And in order to stay alive, you need to keep everything the same. That means if you have a knee injury, we need to keep that knee injury. Oh no, don't fix it. No, we don't know what that's like. That's foreign ground. If I'm a negative son of a bitch who's always unhappy and miserable, I need to stay unhappy and miserable, because that's keeping me alive. Mm-hmm. That's the ego. The ego sees every change as death.
It just popped into my head here. When we first met, we met through, the 3% Man group, and the one of the goals in that group is to read the book 10 to 15 times. And I remember, like, when we first met, you hadn't even finished reading the book yet, and you just wouldn't finish it because you felt like you had to keep stopping and taking notes and really just getting into it. And I was like, dude, don't do that. Just go through it once. I go, you don't need to take notes. Just listen to it over and over again. And I think that was holding you back. But when you finally did it, you're like, holy shit, and it was a game changer. I think that was probably a good example of the ego holding you back, going, no, we have to take notes. We have to be intricate with this.
Oh yeah. You have to know all the facts before I try and put it into play, because going out there and doing it requires risk. That requires the unknown. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and another thing too, the author says people either read this book or, people either read this book because other books haven't worked, or you just like the positive message. Which one are you? And I was like, well, I mean, honestly, like, all the other books have worked for me. Like, I feel like the law of attraction works really well. And like, I'm a firm believer in it. I've seen so much happen in my life that I can't dispute it. And so I just like these books, like, I like learning more about it and learning different ways to do it. But like, all this stuff works. Which one are you, Luke?
I do like it too. I do like the positivity, and I do want to read other books, but I am a strong believer in having one method and sticking to that particular method and not getting too many different methods. You might take a theory or an understanding or one practice from another book, but those geeks who there's a few of them on the page who've like read the book 20 times. And it's like, yeah, but you've read all the theory but you're still in granny's basement and you're still a virgin and you're 35.
Yeah. That the Rule Zero guys call those guys LARPers, live action role players, right? Like, they read all the theory, but they don't do anything. They don't actually go out and do the things. And,
no.
Yeah.
That's another ego defense mechanism, Oh, but I need more information. I need more facts,
Yeah.
It's good. If you enjoy the law of attraction, I think that's good. But I do think having a particular system is good. And I do think that this book actually has enough techniques it kind of covers them all. There isn't that much in there like, have they missed anything that's not in any of the other books? Because I don't think they have.
I will say that this book is really good, and we're going to get into it a little bit. It's really good because he gives you so many different techniques that you can use that will, like, you might like one more than the other, you know, but he gives you so many that you have to choose from that you have no excuses not to do the techniques. But this book is largely a book of techniques. It does. I mean, he explains a little bit about some of the stuff, but I feel like books like the Master Key System, for instance, really go into depth on how this works and why it works, you know, like the spirituality behind it and the science behind it, you know? So I would say that's where this book, if you're a person that wants to know why it works, the Master Key System is a better book than this one, if you know what I mean. So
to understand why.
Yeah.
I mean,
but one thing that he does point out is that he says a lot of people keep reading these books because it's not working for them. But the reason why it's not working for you is because you keep reading these books and you're basically telling the universe that this doesn't work. You need more books.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why. Now this is a bit of it's not the most popular thing to say. And that is that I don't tell people to read Dating Essentials for Men too soon after 3% Man, because the theories in that are incredible. The understanding of the ego and the understanding, because he talks about that too, about the ego trying to stop you, and his understanding of what, you know, of the principles of how attraction works is amazing. And, you know, keep your house clean, keep your car clean. But his system of how to actually go and date and how to speak to people is actually his actual formula for the dates itself is actually very different to Corey's. Yeah. Now his chapter on flirting and banter is incredible, but the strategy that he says about taking everything slow and about not going for the kiss on date one, that would be too much for someone who's just read 3% Man. Yeah. Whereas Atomic Attraction goes hand in hand.
Right. Yeah.
That clashes with what Corey says.
Yeah. You would, if you read them back to back, you'd be like, well, who do I follow? Who's right here? And, you know, really, I think it sort of comes down to what you believe in that, you know, like what is it that you're going for? Because I think what Glover's going for is more of like the long-term, like marriage type thing and taking things really slow that way. I think that that's not a bold enough strategy. You know, I feel like you need to get in there. You need to do bold moves, and kissing's a bold move, and which is also kind of contradictory to what Glover says, because Glover talks about making bold moves. So I don't know. I guess
that's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. They're both great books, but I wouldn't put them back to back. I wouldn't have them side by side. What I would recommend is you really master one system, get your technique down, and then take little bits from other stuff. But you want to have one system. I mean, that When Are You Free to Get Together? I must have used that about 40 times now with, you know, huge success. That, you know, on the phone.
That works better than Glover's, which is you give them 2 days, you know, because what if both days are booked, which happens, you know, you're like, oh, are you free Wednesday or Thursday? Yeah. Or no, you know, like, no, those aren't good for me. Well, then what the fuck do? You know, like
giving them the opportunity to show their interest by how much they give you, by how much they offer you, because that allows them to be like, oh, well, actually, I'm not free. And it's like, okay, cool. Low interest. Got you. You know?
Right. I see. Okay. So going back to the Law of Attraction book, though, one thing that he makes this comparison of working out versus magic ice cream.
Yeah.
And he says, like, we want to work out because we know it's good for us, but most people don't because it takes effort and it's not fun. But what if you could eat ice cream and just a bite a day would give you the same benefits? You would do it because it would be enjoyable and you would look forward to it.
Yeah, the ice cream method is beautiful.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the idea here is he's giving you techniques in this book that are enjoyable to do. Like some of them are actually real kind of fun to do. We'll get into them in a little bit, but a lot of people don't want to put this kind of effort into attracting what they want in life because it feels like a chore to some people.
Yeah. And so the ice cream method is, again, it's another thing that stops the ego from stopping you, because the ego is like, oh, but it's work, it's effort, and we want to conserve energy. The ice cream method is that it's fun. It's a fun thing. And you're actually, a lot of the time, your mind will try and stop you. Your ego will. But a lot of the time, when you get into it, it is so much fun. And I just want to keep going and I want to keep rolling and doing more and more and more. But then, and then times when I'm like, I have to stop now.
Oh, you just got an alert there. So the truth about the law of attraction that no one talks about. He says, he gives an example of imagining being on the beach with a loved one, and how when you imagine that energy, that energy shoots out from your mind, it instantly touches the furthest reaches of the universe, much like a phone call does with someone on another continent. I'm trying to think. Like I feel like The Secret does talk about that a little bit.
It does. The bit that I think that the other ones forgot to mention is how your ego is going to try and fuck you up in so many different ways and talk you out of it. Yeah. Even to the point where when you're having success, it finds a way to stop you.
Yeah. There's some things that he talks about. So if you read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, have you read that?
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay. It's a good one. But this is the last law of attraction book you'll ever need to read, so you don't need to read it. Now, one of the things that Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, and after reading this book, I realized I don't like what Napoleon Hill had to say. So Napoleon Hill says when you're setting these goals, right, these goals that you're going to focus on and stuff like that, you need to set a date to it, right? I'm going to have $1 million by this day, right? And what Andrew Capps basically says in this book is you don't want to do that because you're basically setting yourself up for failure. You're basically giving ego some power there to say, well, if this doesn't happen, this doesn't work, Yeah. So he says you sort of want to leave that open and be open to not just what you want happening, but something better happening. So you don't want to put like a limit on it, like a time limit.
Yeah, because often, the thing or the person or the job or whatever it is that you thought you wanted, often that one that rejects you wasn't meant to be anyway. And something better comes along and you're way more compatible with all the people in the job, or you're way more, like the opportunity you get is way better, but you didn't know about it.
Yeah. Well, I have a great example of that. So on my goal board at the beginning of 2021, I said, I want to interview Dr. Robert Glover and Corey Wayne. Right. And I put by December of 2021, that was going to happen. Well, I did interview Dr. Glover, but I couldn't get in contact with Corey Wayne, but an epiphany hit me to reach out to Rollo Tomasi on Twitter. So I tweeted Rollo and said, hey, Rollo, how do I get you on my podcast? Within like minutes, Rollo replied back saying, I'm following you, DM me. It was like, woo! What? Like in that, all that happened by December, but it wasn't Corey, it was Rollo.
Yeah, Rollo's a much bigger name.
Right. Well, I mean, I feel like the stuff that I feel like this opened a bigger door for me though, right? Because getting to interview Rollo has put me in contact with Rich Cooper, has put me in contact with Ryan Stone, and I interviewed Aaron Clary, right? Like all the Rule Zero guys, and that it was like and it's funny too because all the Rule Zero guys, if they watch this, they're gonna be like, this woo woo bullshit, but. But hey, I truly believe in it, guys. So
wow. Well, they're with you now, aren't they?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, they seem like genuinely good guys. And I feel like the universe said, hey, let me open this door for you instead. Yeah. And it just was a better door, you know.
Rollo was one of the guys who started all of this chain reaction. He was, you know, he really is the godfather of the manosphere. Mm-hmm. Everybody, including Corey, got a lot of their inspiration from the rational male. I don't know any good, effective men's coach who doesn't start by saying, okay, first thing, read the rational male. You know, he must have sold millions, if not billions of copies of that book. Like every town, every village has got a man somewhere who has read that book.
Yeah.
There's no man, no awakened man in the whole world. Like there is no awakened man who doesn't know Rollo.
Yeah. I in my run club, I call him, you know, the Mr. Miyagi of running. He's sort of like my running coach when I was doing the marathon training. His name's Steve. Great guy. We were chatting one day and he mentioned, or I think I mentioned Rollo Tomasi or something. And he goes, oh, you've read The Rational Male. Like he's read it. This random guy in Cedar Edge, Colorado has read The Rational Male. So
everybody knows this. Anybody knows this stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was an example of the universe opening a different door, but that was a better door. You know what I mean? So going back to the reaching the furthest reaches of the universe, like sending that energy out. Bob Proctor does talk about that. He talks about how when you're thinking, you know, you can measure the brain waves, and those brain waves work just like your cell phone does. It sends a signal out, and things that are on that same frequency will pick it up.
Do you remember when I said, I'm going to find, you know, 5'8" redheads?
Yes.
You know, blah, 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 certain description. And then do you remember when I was putting
big personalities?
Personalities. Do you remember? Yeah. And then I was doing a video on the 3% Man page. And then I was like, oh yeah. And I've been talking to all these girls who fit my description. And one of them walked past the car and stopped and started talking to me while I was on camera. Do you remember that?
I do remember.
Yeah. I was like, and right now, where I'm at now, this is at my parents' place. This is a tiny village with a population of about 200 people. And I saw about 3 of them in one day.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's not physically possible. But they were everywhere that day because I was really sending out the frequency.
Yeah. You were really like tuned into that. And a thing that he talks about too is you're not conscious of the fact that you're putting out these vibrations because it's like a dog whistle. You can't hear it, but it operates on a frequency of vibration that your senses just can't detect. That's why you don't notice that it's happening.
Yeah. And so what it is listen up carefully, everybody. This is so big. I wish I knew this before. Is, you know, the conscious mind is very weak, very easily swayed. And the ego is the barrier between the conscious and the unconscious. And the ego is always bullying the conscious mind and trying to fuck with it. What we're doing is bypassing the conscious mind and bypassing the ego. We're putting it straight into the unconscious mind, which is bigger and stronger than everything. That one is the daddy, the unconscious mind. And so if there's any beliefs in the unconscious mind that don't resonate with what you won't get it. You only get it when you truly feel it. When you truly vibrate with something and you truly believe something is real or possible, that's when there's no limiting beliefs and there's no entanglement between the 3 minds. There's no doubt in your mind. Like, for example, I don't believe that I can raise my income by 100K, but I do believe I can easily raise it by 5K, 100%. There's no belief anywhere within there to tell me that I can't do that because it's like 5 more clients plus raising my rates by £1. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's very achievable. I believe that. Now, me going out and getting a 10 is very achievable. I believe there's every reason to believe why I can do that because I've done that before. You know, it's like, it's just one small step. You know, it's the most important thing. Once you get into the unconscious mind, that is stronger, gets straight past the ego, and the conscious mind have no power over the unconscious mind. And also, once you've convinced the unconscious mind that you're going to get something, or that you already have it and you've got the vibration, once the unconscious mind thinks you already have it, it will rearrange, it will spot the disconnect, and it will rearrange everything around you. It will even cause employers to look at your CV longer than everyone else's CV. It moves the furniture around, and it suddenly puts ideas in your head that you didn't have before. Like, you know, say if you needed to make an extra $2,000, you'll suddenly have this business idea, or you'll suddenly go and talk to someone who's looking for someone to do a particular job or something. Like, it will cause you to, you know, when I was in the gym, I was like, Paul, I'm going to get a hot younger girl. And then suddenly I just walked straight up to this girl in the gym without even realizing why I was walking up to her and go, hey, how are you? It was like I was watching it on television.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. So from a spiritual standpoint, right? Like Napoleon Hill refers to that, like your subconscious mind as access to infinite intelligence, right? Like all of our subconscious minds are connected to the same infinite intelligence, right? So that's why once you get your subconscious mind believing in this stuff, other people on that same frequency subconsciously will be sending you ideas and stuff, right? Some people are going to be like, that's total bullshit, right? Like I think Guy Gustafson, like watching this going, that's bull spit. That's how he says, bull spit. But if you want to look at from like a psychological perspective, right? If you can convince your subconscious mind of anything, your subconscious mind, whatever your subconscious mind believes is true, will make it true. So what it'll end up doing is making you hyper focused on certain things. You will get like your subconscious mind's just constantly working. It's constantly working. You're not, if you paid attention to everything your subconscious mind grinded through, you go insane. You know, so your subconscious mind will if as soon as it believes it's true, it'll start working out ways to make things true. And that's where you get your epiphanies when you're in the shower and you've got a clear head and stuff like that, and you get your best ideas. It's because your subconscious mind believes something's true and will try to figure out how to make it work, you know? So from a psychological perspective, that's how that would work. You know what I mean? From a Dr. Glover perspective, right? Because he came on the show and shit all over the law of attraction, but I still love the man. But he essentially says the same thing. If your subconscious mind believes it to be true, it will guide you in ways. Things will start standing out to you that you wouldn't normally perceive before, you know, and it's just, so, I mean, it works that way too, if you want to look at it from a rational perspective.
Also the reticular activation system, you know, once you've written your list of what you're looking to find, now you're focusing, because your brain is seeing all kinds of shit all the time. It can't take in everything that you see. It physically can't, which is why you're walking down a busy street and there's signs and banners everywhere. Boom, McDonald's, boom, Subway, boom, Starbucks. But you didn't see that fucking sign saying, you know, genetically modified cows, did you? You didn't fucking see that sign saying vegan tofu, did you? Because I don't fucking like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Why would I see that? Because it's not something I do. But Subway, yeah, I've been to Subway a few times. Starbucks, yeah, I've been to, you know what I'm saying? Like, your brain's like instantly filters, bam. Now, what if I told you to look around the room and think the color red? Now, as you do that, you're going to see that there's red in places you've never even looked before because your reticular activation system wasn't activating for it. Try that now.
Right. Well, I don't want to leave the dead air, but yeah, I found some red over here in my my shellback certificate. Oh, and my RIMPAC certificate. Oh, look at that on the flag over there. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's it.
So, flag on my shirt. Wow, my God, it's red everywhere.
Oh my God, it's almost like my phone.
There's red in that little pillow in the back there. In the background.
Little pillow, and then it's like someone here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that's actually a great analogy there, Luke. So we've talked about the three minds already, and how most of these techniques in the book that he talks about, and we're going to get to some of these here in a minute. They're really designed to bypass the ego, and he says so. The conscious mind that's where willpower exists, right? Like if you know you need to lose weight and you know you need to stop eating donuts, your conscious mind being conscious is the thing that's going to say, whoa, don't eat that donut. You're going to regret that later, right? Like that's your conscious mind doing that. Your ego, like we've said before, wants everything to be status quo. So if you like eating donuts, your ego's like, no, just keep eating. It's cool. Like, we this is what we've always done. This is comfort. This is comfort food, right?
Don't change. We don't like change.
And then the subconscious mind, and it says, he says in the book, once it believes something, it will make it a reality. And we've said that too.
Oh yeah. Like when you go out and you go, I have a feeling something's going to go wrong today. I fucking told you something would go wrong. It's like the universe doesn't hear, or the unconscious mind, or whoever the fuck you're talking to right now, but it's a mixture of both, doesn't hear don't go wrong. It just hears go wrong.
Yep.
It does. And it will find it. Whereas there've been days I said to you, Paul, I feel like something's going to go amazing today. And then I came back and I was like, it really fucking did.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, this book, what I really thought was great about this book, right? Like the law of attraction, or I'm sorry, The Secret talks about this, right? Like that, having the attitude of gratitude, and everything comes down to feeling positive and stuff like that. But he says in this book, like really the key is gratitude, like having a general feeling of it, trying to always cultivate this feeling of gratitude is really the energy that you want to put out to make things truly manifest in your life. And now Bob Proctor, one of the things I've been a practitioner of for a while now is goal cards, right? And Bob Proctor says, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then you list out what your goals are. And this guy basically says the same thing, but he says you can reword that however you want. You can say, I'm grateful for, or whatever. And it's so weird. Like I never thought about it before, but he's basically saying just like forget all the other techniques, just practice the attitude of gratitude. So even with that goal card, you need to just be grateful for whatever's on that card, and that feeling is what's going to manifest that. So I reworded my goal card from saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that, to just, I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be whatever resonates with your language, with your way of thinking, so that you can tune in. Sometimes the way they say it is perfect, but usually if you freestyle and you ditch the script, you'll find you have your own way of thinking, which when you say it, you feel a way stronger pulse of energy when it's done in your way of saying things. So
right.
That's so important to let go of any right way.
Now people hearing this are going to say, Paul, saying I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then I'm grateful for, it's the same thing. It's different though. It was different for me because I was looking at it as a separate practice, right? So on my calendar, I had like I have a, pop-up calendars on my phone. I had one in the morning and one in the evening to read my goal card and focus on the goal cards like as a separate act. And then throughout the day, I would have things that pop up saying, what are you grateful for? That where I would stop and just think of random things I was grateful for. So like I looked at those as two separate practices. This guy's saying, no, make this the one practice. Attitude of gratitude is your focusing on the goal card or your goal board or whatever method you want to do. But you just need to feel grateful for whatever it is that you're focusing on.
Yeah. And
that was what is the difference for me. And people might listen to this going, Paul, it's the same thing. Like, okay, in my mind, fuck, it wasn't.
You want to hear my greatest epiphany that made a difference like that.
Yeah.
Like real life results difference. The biggest bit for me was that now we always knew that happiness can't be tied to one thing, right? We knew that.
Happiness has to come from within.
From within. Now, and you have to be happy before you've got those things, because when you get those things, it's like, for example, here's the truth. This cup, if I say I'm happy because I've got this cup, and then I drop it and smash it one day, does that mean my life has no worth anymore? Does that mean I can't be happy anymore? That's not real happy. That was just an unhealthy attachment to this cup, right?
Yeah, right. Okay?
We get that for happiness. It has to come from within. and it has to be there before we get it. And so it can still be there afterwards, right?
Yeah.
This is the kicker. Everybody stop what you're doing. Turn off the fucking TV and listen. The same is true of abundance. Say what? Okay. So
what? Okay.
What? Because so many people, they'll do the right thing. Maybe they'll have a really good day where something will happen that makes them very happy. And in that moment, they will gather up some abundance with women. They'll get the girl that they want. And then when they've got that one, now they're in the abundance frequency, right? But they don't know how they did that. But now they're in the abundance frequency. And while they have that girl, now all of a sudden they're attracting the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one, right? Suddenly they lose it all. Suddenly, like, they have a car crash or their mum gets ill or whatever. And suddenly their vibration they lose the girl. For whatever reason, they lose that girl. Now they've lost all the other girls. Their abundance is now gone. And now they don't feel abundant anymore, right?
Right.
That wasn't real abundance. That was just an unhealthy attachment to this, right? Abundance comes first. Now, if I'm only feeling abundant while I've got this, that's not real abundance. That's an unhealthy attachment to a thing that can create a temporary abundance frequency. What if I told you you can tap into the abundance frequency like that, and within half an hour, you'll be getting texts from beautiful women?
I would say you're full of shit, Luke. No, go ahead. No, go on.
It's the same.
Yeah.
The abundance frequency has to come before you have anything. When you realize if you only feel abundance when you have stuff, that's not abundance. That's another unhealthy attachment. If you tap in the abundance frequency, because then say, I've got the cup, lose the cup. That wasn't real abundance. Real abundance is there within you no matter what. Those annoying fuckers who always get what they want. And even when they lose something or have a breakup, within 2 weeks, they found another one.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. Yeah.
They've got the abundance frequency. It's a frequency. And if you don't have it without it, you can't have it with it.
Yeah, that's profound, Luke. So really gratitude is the key, right? And I feel like, being grateful that you have the cup is a good feeling to have, but not right. And so I think that's what he gets to in the book. And then he's got 13 methods that he recommends to help practice this gratitude practice, right? And my favorite was the time lapse method. Now, before I read the book, you told me about it, and I was like, "What? Like, that is a genius method." And I'll just break it down for you I'll pull out my gold cards here. So what he basically says is in the time lapse method is like you say you're grateful for various things, right? But you stack them in an order of things that you're grateful for having happened to you in the past, things that you're grateful for that are happening right now, and then things that you want to happen. You need to be grateful for them, but say it in the present tense, because essentially what he's doing is he's like, it's way easier to trick your ego by placing yourself in a state of feeling in the moment. And you can do that by, if you're grateful for something that happened to you in the past, like, what that feeling was like having that, why you're grateful for that. So you're automatically like, oh man, I was grateful for that. You're in that state of being. Something that's happening to you currently, you are grateful for that. You already have it. What that feels like. You're in that state of gratefulness. So when you sprinkle in the thing that you want, and you say it in the present tense, like, oh, I'm so grateful that I have 1 million downloads a month of my podcast, right? You're already in that feeling frequency of gratitude, and you're putting that out there, and that's going to attract that to you.
Yeah, because you've got the ball rolling in a direction. And the emotional state doesn't change like that. It needs something big to change it.
Yeah. So it immediately puts you in that state of the state you need to be in to attract what you want. And I was like, that is genius. So I, after Luke told me about it and then reading about it in the book, I immediately updated my goal card to sprinkle in things that have happened to me in the past, because I used to just have things in the future that I wanted. and I sprinkled in things that are currently happening, things that have happened in the past, and things that I want to happen. So when I read my goal card, I'm in the state I need to be in. The second thing that he mentioned in the book that I really liked, I'm not currently practicing it because I don't think I need to, but he has the pennies to millions method.
Yeah.
Where, like, let's say your goal is to attract more money into your life. Like Luke was saying, he's got a mental block on saying, oh, well, I can make 100,000 more pounds a year. Right. But it's easier to say 5,000 more pounds. Right. So in the pennies to millions method, he says, when you want to attract more money into your life, sometimes thinking of large numbers, like I'm going to find $1 million today, sounds like an impossible task. Your ego's going to say that's bullshit. Right. But it's way easier for you to say, I'm going to find a penny today, because you find pennies all over the place. Like that's easy for your mind to believe. And he says, but when you put that out there, he goes, money to the universe is money, whether it's a penny or $1 million, that's money. So if you put out there, I'm going to find a penny today, you're putting out the frequency of attracting money.
Yeah. 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 It doesn't discriminate. And this goes well into the raindrops. So,
Yeah.
when it's about to rain, when there's a storm coming, you get that first drop of rain. That one penny you had on the ground was the first raindrop. And the other day, that when I was in the gym and I went and number closed that random 19-year-old, that was the raindrop. Because I said, Paul, I'm going to bring in this younger girl. And then what happened like 3 days after that?
What did happen 3 days after?
I made out with a 19-year-old.
That's right. Yeah. You were cold approaching.
Yeah.
Chicks on the street, and you kissed her, like you kissed a chick like after number closing her. I was like, you sly son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other day when I went out again, I had 3 of them while I was having some rap battle at the bus stop. So that's actually on, all of that's caught on video, and it's on my Instagram, and it actually went viral on Instagram. And it's well, it had 1,660 views or something in a couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, it's all there for everybody to see. My unconscious is now rearranging the furniture because, I had this limiting belief about younger women and uni students that like, oh, the college students, they're not interested in guys like us. They just want to stick together. That's not true. Most of them identify as a horse. And so, you go onto a college campus now, it's very, very PC and very, we respect each other. So actually guys like me,
yeah, you kill it.
Last of the remaining men.
Yeah.
So actually, if you're bold enough and if you feel that you deserve it, and so there was my raindrops, and then the rain is already coming in now. The storm is already starting. Like this is the beginning.
Yeah. What speaking of the raindrops, one of the things he says in the book too is being grateful when you start seeing the raindrops, right? Like these are little signs that what you're attracting is showing up.
Yeah, because there was a guy in Benny's WhatsApp group who said, I think he was talking shit, but he said, I made out with 10 plus women on this night out. So first of all, no, you didn't. But secondly, if he did, he was saying, oh, but I only kissed and I couldn't get him to come home. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't say that. You can say, oh, I only made out, I didn't bring her home. Or you can say, I'm 32 and I made out with a 19-year-old right in front of her friends. Like, fuck yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, come on. Like, who does that?
Right. Well, Luke does that.
Exactly. That was the raindrop. I was like hands in the air. Like I'm celebrating, I wasn't like, oh, I didn't get laid. I was like, fuck yeah. It's been years since I've done anything like that. I mean, they've been 30 plus for the last couple of months,
Right. Yeah. Good work. And that's sort of like, it's important too to have, it's not really covered in the book, but like having that detachment from outcome, you know? So like, oh, I didn't bring her back home. Well, that's because you had an attachment to bring her back home. And now you feel like shit about it, where that's actually a success. Like you had a good date, you had a good cold approach experience, I don't know. People get too much in their heads with that expectation of outcome. And if they realize that, they would have less pain.
But that's the thing. See, I was on receiving mode. I was like, I gratefully received the makeout. Whereas this guy's like, oh no, but I didn't get the smash. It's like, you're in the take mode. I'm in the give mode. I'm in the how many people can I put a smile? You know, how many people's days can I make mode? Like, how can I give to everyone around me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the give and the gratitude. Whereas this guy was all about, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want typical young man. Young man. What can I get?
It's also like a scarce mentality too, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, the universe reflects back. When you give value, you always get it back like 10 times more.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you take from the universe, it's like, well, fuck you. I'm going to kill all your family, and I'm going to take your job, and I'm going to take your wife, and I'm going to take your car as well. Thank you. You know, the guys who get all the luck, get the good luck, get all the good luck. The guys who get bad luck, get all the bad luck. You know, if you take from the universe, it will take from you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's interesting though about that is, I mean, the universe wants to give you stuff though.
It does.
Yeah. But you would like attracts like, right? If you're a giver, the universe wants to give you more.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. It's kind of like, oh man, there's a Zig Ziglar. I think he passed away, but he's like a world-renowned like sales expert, and he has like tons of books on sales. And like one of his quotes, I'm gonna totally butcher it here, but I'm gonna try to paraphrase, I guess, is essentially like, if you spend your life like giving people what they want, or helping people to get what they want, like you'll get so much in return. You know, you'll get everything you want in life, or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So Luke, are you going to read this book again?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna read that one. It's gonna be one of my the ones in the rotation that I keep cycling.
Yeah, I'm definitely adding this one to my reread list. It was that good. I would say if you are only going to ever read a Law of Attraction book, this could possibly be the last Law of Attraction book you ever need. But if you want to like if you read this, maybe I should look at it like this. I always tell people, like when it comes to red pill stuff, to read Rich Cooper's book first, right? Because it's easily digestible. It gives you actionable information, right? Like it gives you stuff that you can easily put into practice, like tomorrow, or or even today if you wanted to. But like Rollo's book is the praxeology, like it's the deep dive, right, into red pill, like just understanding the sexual dynamics of women, right? It doesn't give you the how-tos. This is what it is, right? So I always recommend reading Rich's book first, and then if you want to deep dive, read these books, like read Rollo's book. So I would say if you just want to like start to tomorrow, have actionable information, this is a book you should read first, right? But if you want to deep dive, there's some other books that you should probably read.
It could very well be the 3% Man of Law of Attraction, because if you think, I haven't actually read Unplugged Alpha yet, but if you think about all the things that we take for granted, like, oh yeah, of course you shouldn't be asking for a relationship on the second date. I didn't know that until I read 3% Man, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. You should read Unplugged Alpha. You would fucking love it.
Okay.
So I'm definitely adding this to my reread list. Some other books though that I feel like are also good in this is Thought Vibration, or The Law of Attraction in the Thought World by William Walter Atkinson. That one I read over the summer is a great Law of Attraction book. It really goes into depth on like your vibration, what the thought world is, and stuff like that. I think it goes a little more in depth than this. The Science of Getting Rich is a good one, but a lot like this, it's more of a, this is how you do it, right? It's like it goes in, it doesn't really explain why it all works. I mean, it sort of does, but it doesn't give you more of it's a very short read, I should say, right? It's a very concise, just follow these steps and you'll get what you want. it's very much like this. These are all books that came out like turn of the century too. The Master Key System, that one's the rational male. That one's the rational male of Law of Attraction. Like that one goes really in depth. And then I recommend Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, of course. Have you read any other Law of Attraction books?
I read Playing the Matrix by Mike Dooley.
Oh, okay. Did you like that one?
Yeah, it's good. It has a lot of techniques again. Quite a lot of the same ones. It was good. I don't know that I still prefer this one out of all of them. I mean, okay. I remember I was on a bus, going from I think it was Heathrow Airport, something like that, Luton Airport to Bristol, and I just wrote down exactly what I wanted, an exact archetype of woman, and then matched them on Hinge straight away, and then things sort of spiraled quite quickly. And so that got me believing that his method was incredible. But then when I tried to recreate that, it fucking worked again, didn't it? Fuck's sake. Why did I stop?
Yeah.
I think lockdown killed my spark. I think it did.
Yeah. Lockdown really was hard on you, man. But I mean, I think like lockdown in England was way more strict than it was where I was at. I'm really fortunate. I live out in the country. We're sparsely populated. I don't know if you can hear my dog sneezing over there.
I did. Bless you.
It's okay, baby girl. So yeah, we're sparsely populated. It's largely a conservative area. So like, the governor of Colorado will put out mandates, but no one follows them out here. We're like, fuck your mandates. And, some people do, but that's the way it should be, right? It shouldn't be a mandate. It should be, if you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask. If you want to get the jab, fine. But if you don't want to get any of that stuff, that should be fine too. Do what's best for you and instead of the mandates. And so that's how we sort of live our lives out here. And even during the COVID lockdowns, like I was going out on dates and stuff because women were willing to break the rules and, things were closed, but, we found ways to meet up. And, that last lockdown for you, like a lot of women out there in England did not want to break rules. They were like, no.
Benny actually found a way to trip the system for me, but it was hard. Benny had to really drill away at me and go, no, that belief, get that belief out your head. Go on, replace that belief with this belief. Come on, this belief, Luke, not that belief. And it worked. It did work. And once I had that reference point of people breaking rules for me, I was able to get more people to break rules for me. But in the beginning, it was very hard. And I didn't know how severe the virus was in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So, part of me kind of believed it. Even though I did, what I did was I had somebody who I managed to actually get them hooked before lockdown begun. Yeah. And I managed to get her to break the rules for me. Mm-hmm. Under very specific conditions she did. She had her sister living in the house. And when her sister went to visit the parents, then she broke the rules. And at this point, I was driving through the city center, right through the heart of the city. And the roads were empty and there was just police cars patrolling back and forth. And I was going through, like looking around my shoulder, and it was like a zombie apocalypse. I was thinking, when is the zombie going to jump out from behind the bin and scratch my windshield?
Yeah.
The zombie was really scary.
Zombie never came. I remember that too. Like when the original lockdown happened, like back in March 2020. And man, it was funny. Like when they first put out the lockdown orders, was it February or March? It was March, I think. Anyway, when they first put out the lockdown orders, that very next day was eerie as hell. Like everything was dead. Everything was quiet. Everyone really was like holed up in their house. And the police in Cedar Edge, Colorado were like actually patrolling. I mean, they weren't telling people, they couldn't be out or whatever, but it was just like, wow, this is fucking crazy, and then like as time went on and you find out like, okay, some of this is bullshit, it's not quite as bad as everyone's making out. Then, it started becoming like more absurd, with the idea of like the lockdowns and the mandates and stuff like that. But I digress. what? There was one more thing that I was going to mention here, but I can't think of it. Luke. Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to mention. So the guy that wrote this book, Andrew Capp, he has a YouTube channel. Have you found it? I'm going to link to it. I'm going to link to it in the show notes.
I'm on his Facebook friends list, so I need to look at his YouTube.
You're friends with him?
I'm friends with him.
Oh, you need to. I followed him on Instagram, but I don't think he's on Instagram that much.
No, he posts on Facebook and YouTube. I think I've had a quick look at it.
Okay. Yeah, he his YouTube channel's good. He pretty much just has the YouTube channel to promote the book, which is understandable. But he goes into more of these types of methods on his YouTube channel, and he'll come up with like new methods all the time. Like he does come up with some creative ideas on how to visualize and be grateful. And one of the things, one of his most recent ones he did was on, what did he call it? He called it like the football stadium method. Like he has different names for all these, and he calls them the blah, blah, blah method, So he has the football stadium method on YouTube. And it was the idea that when he sold, like, I think he sold 80 million copies of his book, right? And he goes, oh no, not 80 million. He sold 80,000 copies of his book. And he goes, someone put it into perspective that would fill a football stadium for me. And he goes, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. And he goes, so here's an idea that you could do. Like, imagine yourself being in the center of a football stadium, with 80,000 people, right? Like, or if you want 80, I'm a podcast host, right? I want 80,000 downloads in a month or something, right? He's like, imagine yourself being in the center of a football field with 80,000 people listening to you talk. Yeah. That kind of, imagery in your mind is what attracts that type of stuff,
Shit, you've had 1 million, or was it 2 million views?
On TikTok. Yeah, I've had 2 million views, over 2 million views now on TikTok. Woo! And that's on my new account. That doesn't even account the account that got banned. So
whoa.
Yeah.
Damn, son.
Kind of a big deal, bro. Kind of a big
deal.
People know me. Yeah. All right, Luke. Yeah. I think that pretty much does it. So the book is The Last Law of Attraction Book You'll Ever Need by Andrew Capp. Yeah. I'll link to that in the description. I highly recommend it. Luke clearly recommends it.
Yeah.
Where can people find you online, Luke?
Where can people find me? Should we give them my Instagram? We'll go with my Instagram, which is going to be Luke, and then it's going to be _
Okay.
And then Aylward.
All right.
Just give him my name. Fuck it. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We know who Luke is anyway. Most of the people that watch us. So yeah. So follow Luke on Instagram. We'll post a link to that in the description. Yeah. Luke, always good to have you on, brother.
Thank you. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to be on the Luke and Paul show.
That's right. Well, I mean, it's the Luke and Paul show.
Yeah. Isn't that the name of it on TikTok? Isn't that what we're called?
That's what everyone knows us by.
I see. I thought so. I thought I heard something about come on. No. It was Luke and Paul.
It's the Luke and Paul show. Yeah, all right, brother, man. We'll talk to you later.
In a bit.
Luke, always great to talk to you, brother. You know that. That's why I like calling it the Luke and Paul show when you come on. For you guys that are not aware of this, by the time I recorded this, the intro and the outro part of this, Luke and I also worked it out with our other 3% brother from England, Professor Sanderson, who was on the podcast last year, like earlier in the year. And we're going to be talking about frame when those two guys come back on, and how to maintain a strong masculine frame. Professor Sanderson, if you guys didn't know, the guys in the 3% man group that I'm still a part of, they know what he's all about. And his content when he posts it in the group is phenomenal. So I think some of you guys that are following me from TikTok or just started following me after, I had some bigger names on like Rollo and Aaron Clary and Dr. Robert Glover. You guys are really going to like what Lewis has to say. Lewis is a really smart dude, and you'll learn a lot from it. So if you struggle in the whole idea of maintaining a strong masculine frame, stay tuned because that episode's going to be fucking epic. All right, guys, that's all I have this week. We'll see you next Monday.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. New full episodes served hot every Monday morning on your favorite podcast platform of choice. So subscribe now. Follow Paul on social media. The links are in the description. Now, go out and get it.